Good morning guys, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be working on the Corsa. So I have a 2006 Vauxhall Corsa C, and it's a 1.3 CDTI, so it's the 1.3 diesel Fiat engine essentially. But today we're going to be tackling two jobs. We're going to be replacing the water pump and also the drive belt kit, or the micro V kit as Gates like to call it, and that basically just consists of the automatic tensioner and then the drive belt, and that is going to be situated somewhere down there. So you can probably just make out the water pump just down there, and that's got the belt on it as well, and that runs off the alternator and also, like I said, on the tensioner as well. So the reason I'm going to be changing them, like, it's not as if the water pump is leaking. It hasn't like failed, the bearing hasn't failed, the belt doesn't look like it's going to snap. It's just like a preemptive maintenance thing. You know, the car's just done 81,000 miles now, and they actually recommend that you change the drive belt every like 5 years or 50,000 miles. And I'm guessing that it's the original one. Like, I mean, I don't know, I picked the car up on like 57,000 miles, and the drive belt is something that people don't really often change until it snaps. Now, this car, like, I use it every single day in, day out. I do so many miles on it, and I just cannot be without it for a day. So yeah, I have to like change things on it, I have to replace things before they fail, because if I'm like driving to or from work and then I break down, that means then I have to get recovered like home, and then I have to order parts, or I have to go and get them. It takes days, and that's like days where I'm not earning money. So it's best for me, it's cheaper for me just to replace things before they fail. So that's what I'm going to be doing. It wasn't like a lot anyway. I'm pretty sure the water pump was like 30 something quid, and then the drive belt kit was about 30 something quid or 40 quid or whatever. So yeah, it's best to just change them out anyway, because they are going to fail sometime in the future, so it's best to just do them now before they fail. Okay then, so I think first thing is first, I'm just going to jack the car up by the subframe. I like to jack it up by the subframe where that gearbox mount is at the front there. Then I'm going to put the two axle stands on either side of the subframe. Okay then, so I should probably explain why I've jacked the car up and why I've put it on axle stand. It's because I need to drain the coolant. Now, I usually drain the coolant on this car from this coolant hose down there, and that connects to, then it connects exactly onto the water pump actually. So we'll get some pliers, get that off, and then drain the coolant into a bucket. Okay then, so how I'm actually going to get this this clip off, which these clips are just horrible if you've only got standard pliers. I'm actually going to use one of these tools, and these are actually great because when you pull that, it locks on, and then it keeps the clip open. Then you can just like slide it back then and pull the pipe off. Now, I should point out, this is not the proper way how you should drain the coolant. Now, if you have a look underneath here at the bottom of the radiator, you'll see there, that thing just there, you should turn that, and then there's actually a pipe going out the front of it, and you would have to connect like a pipe to that to drain it, unless you want it just like shooting all over just this thing here, and it'll just like go everywhere. So I don't have a pipe to drain it off, so I'm just going to do it from this from that coolant pipe just there. Okay then, so I managed to get the pipe off, and that's coolant's drained into the bucket and kind of everywhere else as well. A little bit splashed on the floor, but got the majority of it in the bucket. I mean, I do have some new over there anyway. I can top that up a little bit if if I have lost some. Okay, then, so while that's just continuing to drip, I'm just going to get rid of everything that I can, which is going to give me the best access. Now, I'm pretty sure I'm probably going to have to remove one of these engine mounts, which will require me jacking up or at least supporting the sump somehow. So, but in the meantime, I'm going to get the engine cover off. I'm going to get the airbox out on this pipe to there, and I'm going to get this pipe out as well. And that should at least allow me to see a lot better this side of the engine. Okay then, so with the airbox removed, you can already see how much better access we have. Now, ideally, I don't want to have to take the engine mount off, but if means must, then obviously I'm going to have to do it. But you can see that's the water pump there, that's the alternator, and then the automatic tensioner is that one at the top there. Okay then, so we have our new tensioner, and I'm just going to check the bolt size. And that is a 15mm, I think. Yeah, 15mm. So I'm just going to put this on the breaker bar, put it on the original tensioner, and then turn it, and then that'll relieve tension off the bout, and I should just be able to pull the bout off then. The bout off. Okay, so just from inspecting the bout, it doesn't actually look that worn. Like, I can't see many cracks, but what I can see is like these, chunks of metal in the bout. I don't know if that's like, inside of the bout, that's what it's made of or whatever, but those small pieces of metal, that would cause squeaking and would actually be the reason why I've actually been getting some squeaks from the belt. So yeah, I don't know if that's normal or not to get them like little piece of metal in it, but yeah, the belt itself doesn't actually look that worn. It's not actually that cracked or whatever, but it's cheap enough to just replace it, so that's what we're going to do anyway. Okay, so with the belt removed, it's just going to be a case of removing the tensioner and the water pump. I'm going to go ahead and remove the tensioner first, and it just has one bolt there. It's actually that bolt just there, and that is a Torx T50, so I'm going to go ahead and remove that. I think I've actually just about got enough access to get one of these sockets on and crack that loose. I haven't really got much clearance here, but I think I've just about got enough room. Tensioner off. Need to reuse this bolt because I don't have another one. Okay then, so for this water pump, looks like that's holding it on is just 4 nuts. So one there, and then 2 at the bottom. So it's gonna, it looks like a 10mm, so I'm gonna get that on there, crack them loose, and then hopefully this should just pull off. Okay, so there's not enough clearance to get a socket on, but what I am going to put on is one of these ratchet spanners. So I've got 10mm ratchet spanner. And the threads are very rusty. One very rusty and crusty nut off. Okay, so quick little update. I managed to get the top 2 nuts off. Now I went underneath because I thought I'd be able to get better access. Now there's one that I could definitely get off, but the other one is the one on this side. Now it's so close to the engine mount, so it's just going to be so much easier just to take the engine mount off, because I could barely even get the ratchet spanner on the nut. So yeah, I'm going to get the jack, put a piece of wood on it, and support the sump, and then I will get this off. And this is just going to be a case of taking these 4 bolts out, and then just taking these 2 bolts out here which bolt it to the chassis. Okay, so I'm actually just being a bit silly now. I forgot that there was actually holes on the water pump pulley. You can just get a socket and ratchet through the holes and then do the nuts, which is what I should have done. But yeah, that one that I struggled to get to is down the bottom there. Yeah, it's not so hard to get to now. I can just put it through there. So there's just the 2 bottom ones. It's probably best that I took the engine mount on, because that would, you know, it's going to make it easier to put the new water pump on and to align the belt up and whatever else. So yeah, it's probably best that I did do it, but it's not needed. Okay then, so got all 4 nuts off, got the odd water pump out, took the odd seal out as well. I'm just going to give this whole area a clean, just clean the inside of it to, you know, pick up any debris that's fell off or whatever. And then just give these studs a clean as well, because they were a little bit rusty getting them nuts off. And yeah, then the new one can just go straight on. Okay then, so here I have the new water pump. As you can see, this is a aluminium one, the old one was mainly plastic. Comes with a O-ring, so that's going to go around the impeller there. Should sit in there and should help keep it a nice snug fit. So I'm just going to put this on and then go ahead and put this over the studs, and then we will go ahead and start putting the nuts on. Okay then, so that is the new water pump fully installed. So obviously we did put the O-ring on, and then that's the 4 nuts tightened up over the studs, and yeah, that's that pretty much done. Next thing is going to be doing the tensioner, which just bolts onto there, so let's get onto that now. Okay then, so it is to be noted with this tensioner, it can actually only go in one position. You'll know when it gets like flush with the face of the engine. It can only go, like, it'll sit, you know, when it sits flat with the engine, it'll only sit in one place, and obviously it's got to line up with all the rest of the pulleys. So, and this is the position that it's going to go in. Now, I couldn't actually get the ratchet on here. You know, as I said before, the space was tight, so I've put the socket in a set of mole grips, and I'm going to tighten up as much as I can with that. Then I should be able to get the ratchet in there then. So let's tighten it up. Okay then, so that is the automatic tensioner done. Obviously water pump's already done. I've actually tightened that bolt down there to 50 Newton meters, and everything lines up okay. It's just going to be time to put the belt on now. Okay, so when you're putting the belt on, there is only really one way to, putting it on. Obviously it's got to go around the crankshaft pulley, and it's got to go around the alternator, and it's also got to go around the water pump, and obviously it's got the grooves in the belt, and that's obviously going to make contact with the pulleys, so it's only going to really go around one way. So I'm going to start off by putting it around the crankshaft pulley, and that lines up with the water pump, and then that is going to go on the alternator, and that's it. Simple as that. Okay then, so everything is lined up now. Got the belt around the crankshaft pulley, belt around the tensioner, belt is around the alternator pulley, and the belt is around the water pump pulley. Okay then, so I've got the pin out of the tensioner, everything lines up. It's got a lot more tension in it now. It will adjust, I think, once I start the engine up, once the crankshaft turns on, I think it will adjust to the correct tightness, and obviously it is ever adjusting, that's what this tensioner does. In case the belt stretches and whatever, this makes sure it's the right tension all the time. So yeah, that should be everything done. Let's get the engine mount back on now, and then let's start the engine up. Okay then, so that is pretty much everything put back together. The airbox is all plumbed back in, MAF sensors plugged back in, the intake pipes fastened back up. It's just going to be a case of dropping it down on the ground and starting the engine up and see how the new belt fares, and the water pump obviously. Okay then, so obviously put everything back together. Actually took the car for a test drive. I got it up to operating temperature, which for me is about 82, 83 degrees. Now usually it's like 89, 90 degrees, but I'm pretty sure the thermostat that I have is like a race thermostat, so it operates at lower temperature. So yeah, so I got it up to temperature. Just wanted to make sure that everything was working right. I had enough coolant. The coolant level didn't drop below the max line, and wasn't overheating or anything. So water pump seems to be working okay. The belt seems to be moving fine, and yeah, everything seems to be pretty much done now. So yeah, I'm going to end this video here. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Please give it a like if you have. Leave a comment down below and let me know if you guys want to see more of these. I'm sure there'll be more work to do on the Corsa for sure. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in that next video. Peace!